Representative AOC makes the claim that abortion rights are a class struggle too. Governor Ron DeSantis serves food to Floridians after Hurricane Ian. And Kanye West says white lives matter. All of that and more here on The Bald Brad Show. Welcome to The Bald Brad Show. It is Tuesday, October 4th, and as always, I couldn't be happier than to kick these mornings off right, doing The Bald Brad Show and hanging out with all of you, my friends and true American patriots. We come together as a community of conservatives and Republicans, go over the stories of the day, and bring you all the news and information you need to know about. So if you want to join us here at The Bald Brad Show and you haven't already, what are you doing? Hit that like and subscribe button. If you're over at Rumble, hit the plus and give us a comment down below. And if you're listening on any of the podcast airwaves, Apple, Google, Spotify, heck, folks, you can find us and listen to us anywhere and everywhere. Leave us a lovely 5-star review. Not only would you be helping a conservative, but most importantly, you'd be supporting getting conservative thought and ideas out there to new viewers who haven't seen our content or our channel. So your help and support would be greatly appreciated. Again, folks, hit the like button, but also make sure the bell notification's on because 85% of you are not being notified when we upload a video or go live, which is every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, with Supernatural Saturdays and a sprinkling of politics on Sundays, folks. So hit that bell notification so you are notified when we upload or go live. With that being said, we got a doozy of an episode here for you today. Starting with our lead story, AOC makes the claim that abortion rights are a class struggle too. Yes, let that one sink in. Wait till you see the manipulation and wording on this one, folks. Not only do we have an article, but we got a video to go along with it. Democratic Representative AOC of New York has declared that abortion is an economic matter because if people are compelled to birth children they don't want and can't afford, that leads to people essentially being conscripted, her words, not mine, to engage in work that is against their will. I feel like Austin Powers here, Dr. Evil, okay, conscripted against their will. I'm sorry, you gotta have fun with this, but this lady is bonkers. What you got to give her, she's a true politician. This lady knows how to word, manipulate, and twist stuff. Hell, way better than the White House from what we've been seeing. So she's pushing this. She's on social media here, pushing this whole idea of people being forced to give births when they're poor and working class people, yada, 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 folks. Rather than me do the talking, let her do the talking.
It is an economic issue. Forcing poor and working class people to give birth against their will, against their consent, against their ability to provide for themselves or a child is a profound economic issue. And it's certainly a way to keep a workforce basically conscripted to large-scale employers and to employers to work more against their will, to take second and third jobs against their desire and their own autonomy. And so the idea that abortion and access to abortion is somehow not a profound and central economic and class issue and class struggle is certainly something that I think a person who's never had to contend with the ability to carry a child, it belies that perspective.
Jesus, folks, this is the Democrat Party for you. I mean, there is so many things that are wrong with what she said, and don't get me wrong, we're going to break it down here, folks. Remember when abortion used to be safe, legal, and rare? It's no longer that case, and I'll put it in perspective to you. They are literally sending RVs to give abortions, and these RVs are basically being parked right outside of red areas so they could supply people that want abortions right there. So it's not safe, legal, and rare anymore, folks. It's just out there to meet the demands of the people that want to end up killing babies. She goes, abortion rights are a class struggle too. Now, there are or is some truth to that in terms of when you look at the distribution of those that are getting abortions, there is a certain class set that are getting the abortions because, like she said, it's inconvenient. They can't afford it, but they still decide to have sex. They got to pay for the repercussions of their actions, which is now she's getting into, well, they got to work 2 or 3 jobs against their will. They're birthing against their will. Everything's against their will. It's amazing, but nothing's against the will of the baby. Maybe the baby wants to live. Maybe the baby wants to survive, but we can't talk about that. It's so amazing how there's literally 2 parties at hand here. There's the mother and father, then there's the baby, but the baby's always left out of the conversation. It's just about the mother and father, and somehow they're being forced to do things. But Never was a conversation was, are they forced to have sex? Because that's only 0.5%. It's 0.5%. If you want to throw in incest, that's the other 0.5, which makes up roughly 1% of all abortions. Everything else is just inconvenience. So finally, at least she's saying the quiet part out loud of, hey, that inconvenience is now an economic crisis, and it's an economic issue. So when the powerful force people to give birth against their will, they trap millions into cycles of economic setback and desperation, especially in a country without guaranteed health care, and desperate workers are far easier to exploit. Oh, now it's exploiting. It's just the craziness of it. Can you imagine being her husband and trying to get in like an argument with this woman? You want to hit your head against the wall. I mean, you drive your car into a tree because you just don't want to deal with it. It's head spinning, folks. During the hearing on Thursday, AOC said abortion is an economic issue, forcing poor people and working class people to give birth against their will, against their consent, against their ability to provide for themselves or their child. Then you probably shouldn't have had sex. If you knew you couldn't provide for another child or another human being, you think you should have put the thing in the thing? Probably not. And she's saying it's a profound economic issue. You gotta love it. It's just amazing. Just murder, folks, is an economic, and not just any economic issue. It's a profound economic issue. Adding is that to maintain a workforce essentially conscripted by employers to take extra work against their will. Because now they're being forced to work. Like people are shackling them up, whipping them, and forcing them to go get another job to pay for the life of which they just gave birth to from the sexual contact that they just had earlier on, about 9 months before. So it's all against their will to take second and third jobs, contrary to their desire. God forbid, you got to sit there and take care of the one that you gave birth to, a little baby child. The Women's March has openly declared that any reason is a valid reason to get an abortion. That's way different than what it used to be. Way different than the messaging used to be. But now this is how it's all changed, folks. It's all changed. In a lengthy Twitter thread on Friday, the left-wing movement claimed that, quote, any reason is the right reason for abortion. Any reason. Remember, it used to be safe, legal, and rare. Any reason's not rare whatsoever. So what are they doing? Now they're, again, sending RVs out on the borders of red states or red areas, depending on where you're at, so you could get something right there for any reason. Another tweet listed potential reasons such as financial insecurity. Remember, it was all about race and incest. That race and incest is the very thing that they go towards every single time. And now what they're doing, they're changing it. Now it's all being changed just to financial insecurity. Isn't that literally subjective? I mean, you can make a ton of money and still feel like you're having financial insecurity because you're spending your money probably in a way you shouldn't be. Or you could be making little money and have the same financial insecurity as the person making a lot of money. It's all subjective. Remember, it's all about your feelings, folks. It's all about your feelings. Forget the kids' feelings. It's all about yours. Because you're not ready for a child. Never want kids. Or already have the children you want. Because a pregnancy would make leaving an abusive relationship harder. See how they cherry pick that? Of course, when you have a child, you must be in an abusive relationship. The patriarchy, folks, the patriarchy. Let's go after all the men. That's what they want to do. Or just because you don't want to be pregnant. I don't know why I'm so hyper-focused on men, because I was told men can have births too, but yet at the same time, it's cis white gendered men like myself that aren't able to be involved in this conversation. Even though if I shout to the skies that I'm a woman, they still won't believe me. It's a crazy time of politics to be alive, folks. It really is. In a tweet on Thursday, get this, the Women's March proclaimed that it's not simply pro-choice, but it's pro-abortion. They went from pro-choice to now pro-abortion. They want abortions after birth. I mean, it is wild what these people want, folks. They literally want to cut up a baby after it's already been born. Quote, we're not just pro-choice. We are proudly, unapologetically pro-abortion. They're stoked about this. This is the epitome of the left wing. This is what they want. It's prideful now. You should be proud to kill a baby. Let that sink in. Okay? They are proud to go out and kill babies. I mean, there are literally left-wing people. It's happened on TikTok and all these other places like Twitter. They'll post and they'll say that they will intentionally get pregnant so that they can have an abortion. And it's so wild, and that stays up, right? But God forbid that you say a man is a man and a woman is a woman and you get removed. You get silenced. You get banned, censored, all that shebang. We've seen it left and right. Charlie Kirk, the Babylon Bee, the federal senator. Litany of Republicans and conservatives have said just straight, biological, truthful things. But people say, you know what? I want to have an abortion. I want to get pregnant to have an abortion, and that just stays up willy-nilly, totally fine. Same with Iran, their crazy chants death to America, lighting piñatas of presidents on fire, all sorts of stuff. So there you have it. The left is going further left. They're going so far left. We're trying to look for them. Like, where'd you guys go? They're way out there, folks. They're way out there. And God, like I said, AOC is just not a person you really want to have a conversation with because she is loony. We thought, like, there's two sides of the Democrat Party. Here's the Joe Biden side, which is just not there loony. And then there's AOC, which is just crazy. So two evils, two terrible sides of the coin, one of which you don't want to flip either. So with that being said, let's jump into our second story of the day with Ron DeSantis cooking breakfast at a Waffle House for hurricane first responders. Somebody who knows what the heck's going on in at least politics in terms of what their job is to govern and take care of their people. Because look, none of the Democrats are doing it. Democrats want to kill babies. Joe Biden just wants to find his office and sometimes his left shoe, but he ain't going to find either. Okay. So you got Governor Ron DeSantis here cooking breakfast Saturday morning for first responders who have been on the front lines dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. And we all seen the images, the pictures. It's just horrendous what this hurricane has done. And remember, the left is trying to fearmonger everybody. CNN, MSNBC is doing this by saying, oh, you know, climate change, global warming, all this stuff is category 4. These things are getting way more intense than they've ever been. Look, they've had category 4 before. I understand this is probably one of the top 5 hurricanes Florida's ever seen. But still, like you've seen meteorologists say, you can't contribute one event to climate change or global change in terms of the climate. You know, they're still going to push this fear mongering. And we all seen this from Charlie Chester of CNN, the technical director that was exposed by Project Veritas. He literally said, we're going to go from COVID-19, pushing that fear mongering, to climate change. That's the agenda. And we're seeing that agenda unfold in real time. Hurricane Ian made landfall Wednesday afternoon in Southwest Florida as one of the most powerful category 4 hurricanes to ever hit the state, with sustained winds reaching up to 155 miles an hour. I mean, this thing just ransacked, and you're talking billions and billions of dollars. And I think even prior hurricanes were somewhere up to what, like 30 or 40 billion or something like that. I mean, completely devastated. Ron DeSantis has a like a fundraiser thing that you can contribute to help the state, to help Floridians. The man's out there. He doesn't sleep. He's constantly doing work. And I believe this video here is of him working, and hopefully I'm getting this right, at a Waffle House. It's one of the first places to open back up right after the hurricane. And he's out there serving up breakfast, cooking, doing things right. Let's go ahead and roll the man.
Hey, wow, this is definitely good stuff right here.
Yeah.
So you got that one?
That's ready too.
Is this ready, period?
That's ready.
That done?
Everybody's leaving now. Let me give you one more here. Yeah, like you're left-handed.
No, I'm right-handed. This is the right hand on this
I'm
one?
right-handed, so this is for the right.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Yeah. I think that's better. Hey, wow, this is
Can you see Joe Biden doing that? Have you seen Joe Biden do it? I'm sure maybe in his past when he was a young guy, Joe Biden would get confused. He'd burn himself. He would light the place on fire. Joe Biden's not going to be out there serving up breakfast. Have you seen Joe Biden clean up? Have you seen Joe Biden do anything? Honest to God, watching that guy go from the White House to Marine One is freaking nails, right? Everybody's on edge, walking on eggshells. We're all worried what's going to happen to the guy. And it's not just us going like, oh my God, is he going to make it to the plane? Is he going to make it from the plane to the car? Is he going to make it from Air Force One back to the Oval Office, which he's messed up multiple times? He's fallen up the stairs to Air Force One. It's crazy. It's crazy what we see from this president. And that's not just coming from us. That's also coming from the aides of the White House that said that they are so worried that he's going to trip over a cable in the White House from the monitors to the cameras, that they're freaking out that he's going to fall over. And that's just the end of it. He's going to break a hip and he's done. So everybody's worried for the president. There's no way that he's going to get out and do the same thing Ron DeSantis is doing, because Ron DeSantis is killing it. Okay. DeSantis issued updates on his administration's hurricane recovery efforts after serving numerous devastated areas and meeting the officials in the impacted communities. Look, and it's not just like a PR thing. Of course it is PR for him to get video of him serving up stuff. It makes him look good. But this guy has just been on 24/7 alert, taking care of Floridians, making sure everything is going the way it's supposed to go. He knows this is a big test for him. The left have already come out and try to go after him and attack him. He knows that there's a lot of people that died. There's a lot of damage that done. There's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done. And he's out there working his butt off. And I can say he's doing a lot more for his state than Joe Biden's doing for this country. The governor's office said that there are 42,000 linemen responding to more than 1.2 million power outages caused by the catastrophic damage from Hurricane Ian. The linemen have already restored power to more than 1.4 million Floridians, the governor added. As of Saturday morning, over 1,000 members of search and rescue teams have made more than 1,100 rescues. Helicopters have been used for nearly 200 of the rescues. The responses that ultimately went out that ended up capitalizing or taking care of those rescues. But there you have it. Ron DeSantis doing yeoman's work, leading like you're supposed to. You're not going to see this from the president. The only thing you're going to see from the president is pooting around, looking for the Oval Office, trying to be chauffeured around by his wife or the Easter Bunny. He's not going to be doing anything like this. This is what a president looks like, you guys. And you know what? You should be having Trump out there too. I'll just be honest. I'm a big Trump fan, folks. Trump should be doing these types of things. I'm not saying he doesn't. I just haven't seen a lot of footage of him doing it right now. I see him doing his rallies, which is great. He should be flying in and doing this stuff. Going out there doing charity, making a charity event himself and running it and getting money out there. Like, this type of stuff should be happening from the Trump administration if they truly are going to run in 2024. And that seems to be the mechanic, or at least the direction of which they are going to go. But Ron DeSantis, you guys, is doing everything right. It's almost, again, looking like he's going to be running in 2024. And it's tough because a lot of people are saying they're still going to vote for Trump over DeSantis. And I think DeSantis is better than Trump. He's a Trump 2.0. He can walk and chew gum at the same time. Trump struggles with that. Trump talks a lot. I love the man. Again, I will vote for him too. But Trump also needs to take care of this. Maybe not chew so much gum and just do a little bit of walking without some talking every once in a while, huh? Our last news story of the day. This one's kind of fun. The left is losing their minds. The left are losing their minds over this story. Kanye West inspired more outrage on social media after he showed up at a fashion show wearing a design that reads "White Lives Matter." And of course, the left just lost it, just irate over this because a black guy saying white lives matter, which is true. Do black lives matter too? Yes. Asian lives matter? Yes, we've all been saying this. We've all been saying this. West, who has changed his name legally to Ye. Now, look, I was a big Kanye West fan when I was younger. I listened to him in high school. Ever since his mother passed away, which is terrible and sad, the guy's kind of lost it. I feel like his stability in life, the people that are around him, aren't exactly leading him in the right direction. He is right on things, he is wrong on things, and that goes with everybody. But you change your name to Ye, which I guess is a typical thing for rappers. But he was revealing his latest fashion line for his Yeezy brand in Paris, France. "I am Ye, and everyone here knows that I am the leader," he reportedly said at the event. "You can't manage me." Okay, that's fair. That's a true statement. It's kind of random you're throwing that out there, but many people on social media rushed to condemn him for what they took to be an affront to the Black Lives Matter movement. The shirt also had a photograph of Pope John Paul II on the front. I'm not into his clothing line, whatever, but this is a little bit what it looks like. And he's taking a photo up here with Candace Owens. And, you know, it's to poke the bear a little bit. It is to go after the progressive left and mess with them. Remember, he's one that kind of, I don't want to say he's an anarchist, but he's definitely one that goes against the grain on things. He doesn't like to be told what to do. It's not about just Black Lives Matter, white lives, Asian lives matter. And I love that Candace is wearing a white shirt with black lettering and he's wearing a black shirt with white lettering. All lives matter. And the Black Lives Matter movement sucks, you guys. You got to love it. It's just that big slogan out there, Black Lives Matter. And everybody's like, yeah. It's like saying the sky's blue. Yeah, okay. Everybody's on board with that. But then if you look at their little agenda, trying to get rid of the nuclear family, they don't want two fathers in the household, which shows statistically that it makes a dramatic effect when you have two parents in the household, especially a father, on crimes, the crime rate, all that stuff matters when you have two parents in the household. They're not for that. What they're for is just building mansions. Just building mansions out there, buying mansions for millions of dollars in predominantly white neighborhoods, which is the very white people are supposedly suppressing them because there's institutional racism. It's still the white man out there, even though there's categories of black people are doing amazing, outcompeting whites on many levels. There's also categories of Asians that are outcompeting not just Asians, but also white and black people. You can do the same thing with the Hispanics, but we can't talk about that because that's too crazy and it blows up their whole worldview and their narrative and their head starts spinning. They can't figure it out. Well, back to with the Kanye West discussion here. The decision to wear a White Lives Matter shirt is disgusting, dangerous, and irresponsible. Some of y'all wish to rush to defend him. You should ask yourselves why. This comes from BET host Mark Lamont Hill, of course. Of course. God forbid somebody wears a White Lives Matter shirt that contradicts your whole narrative and goes against your thinking. And again, he just got done saying, Kanye West says you can't manage me. That's the whole purpose of it. You're not going to tell the guy what to do and what not to do. That's why he wore the MAGA hat. He liked Trump. He liked what Trump did. Trump's a businessman. People didn't like Kanye West wearing the MAGA thing because Kanye West, again, is a black guy, and MAGA people are supposed to be extremists, right? A threat to democracy, white supremacists, and all this other stuff. It's crazy. These people are crazy. Quote, Kanye West making black models wear White Lives Matter shirts is a culmination of his anti-blackness and his immersion in white supremacy ideologies and methods. Disgusting, somebody wrote. Isn't that amazing? I mean, I just literally got done telling you that they all think MAGA people and all this stuff. So if you go against their narrative, this is what it comes down to. If we were to break this down to skin and bones, whenever you go against the left on anything, literally anything, you are a white supremacist. You're a racist. You're a threat to democracy. You're a threat to this country. All these things, this is how they view. If you don't go with their narrative, if you don't believe in their ideology, you are now a white supremacist, a fascist, a semi-fascist, according to Joe Biden himself. So the name calling continues here, and it's amazing. It's just amazing how this works. Every time there's a Democrat president, now we revert back to, oh, let's push this whole agenda close to election time, threat to democracy, racists, bigots, xenophobes, homophobes, whatever it is, that's what they're calling you. And you know what? If you're black, they're going to call you an Uncle Tom. If you're black, they're going to say that now you're an immersion of white supremacy ideologies and methods, and now you're exposing that upon everybody else, and now everybody else is going to inculcate those values, and you're just doing harm to the black community. That's what they do here. Now you're getting into their head, whether it's conscious or unconscious. Even though you don't know you're doing it, you're still a racist. Whether you say you're racist or not, you're still a racist. Can you do anything to fix it? No, you can't. And by the way, that's not just their thinking. That also is the thinking that's going into the school system with CRT through the indoctrination by literally saying, regardless of whether you're racist or not, you're still racist. I know that sounds crazy because it is crazy, but the left are crazy. Another one says, another critic, you can stop blaming Kanye West's actions on mental illness. He's a grown man with billions of dollars pandering to his audience to sell overpriced shoes. I mean, part of that is correct. Shoes are really overpriced, but it's just amazing that, you know, people are blaming Kanye actions on mental illness, whether he has mental illness or not. But it's just amazing that they're going to go after him for literally just wearing a shirt. What hashtag Kanye West is doing is not intellectually dishonest. It's irresponsible and borderline dangerous. Why is it dangerous? Again, you guys, it's dangerous because they think we're a threat to democracy. And now all his cult followings are going to be white supremacists too and all this other stuff. It's so stupid. We live in such a stupid time. You know, at some level, you just want to get along. I would love to have just a full conversation with Black Lives Matter and just sit down and actually have some sort of an agreement on things. But here's the thing. You can't. And if you do disagree, you're a white supremacist. You're cultivating the institutional racism that's out there. You're lifting it up. You're not suppressing. You're not bringing it down. You're not speaking for the little man. You're uplifting white supremacy. You're uplifting all these institutions that's holding people down. Some nameless, faceless, shadowy figure out there. Quote, there's a lot of stuff where they have a lot of commitments to China. We wanted to localize manufacturing, which is completely possible with some of the factories that I'm buying here in California. This comes from West that said this in September, that he was going to manufacture his own clothing after ending the deal with Gap. He also claimed that he was going to allow to make his clothing in the U.S. instead of outsourcing places like China, which, you know, hey, is a good call. A lot of people are switching their manufacturing out of China after this whole COVID-19 thing. A nice example of that is Apple. Apple, I think, is going to produce the iPhone 14, I believe, in India because of kind of what's going on with China, keeping everything locked down, not opening their manufacturing up, all sorts of things. You also have the climate kind of issue that Apple doesn't agree with. You know, China's still polluting and all that other stuff with ESG scores. So people are getting out of China, which is ultimately going to hurt them. And I think it's good. I think China needs a realization that America is the reason why they are as powerful as they are. The second America pulls out, you know, China's done. People go, well, wouldn't that affect America? Yeah, for the short term, until we actually go to India, Taiwan, we go to other places and just have our manufacturing just really built there, or just do it here in America. So there's a lot of possibilities that can be done. It will take some time. You will take a sort of a economic hit for a bit, but once you get that up and going, you don't have China anymore. Hey, you know what? They're going to get shellacked, folks, in their economy. And folks, they're already down 11%. So they're getting shellacked as it is. That is the news that we have today for you all. Thank you so much for always supporting the Bald Brad Show, folks. I know we missed Monday and we missed Sunday. There were things going on, weddings, babies, all sorts of stuff's happening, folks. You got to support those that are around you, and I ask you to support us here at the Bald Brad Show by hitting that like and subscribe button. And I will see you tomorrow here on the Bald Brad Show.